Hello, everybody, and welcome into my birthday broadcast. I don't do this every year. I think that would be sad if I did. But this year, since it falls during the work week, my birthday, I thought I'll celebrate my birthday over the weekend because I've got a lot of work to do. But then I said to myself, not every broadcast I do has to be a class. Generally speaking, in my mind, I treat my broadcasts like a college classroom. I assume people are here because they choose to be. And of course, I don't have a lot of tolerance for the disruptions that occur and have made steps, of course, to remediate that. However, today we'll do something completely different and we're just going to hang out and chat. So I hope you'll enjoy this and I hope you'll be participating in the chat room so we can all talk with one another about whatever is on your mind. It doesn't really have to be technical. And we'll just hang out, just like friends hang out. And I want to give a shout out and a thank you to everybody who has said happy birthday to me so far in the chat room. Francois Gabal says happy birthday, and Marvin Jameson, thank you so much, Marvin. Robert Fontaine and Ardo Rasenin, as well as Jean-Francois Pelgrim and Nicholas Menard, Patrick Holcomb, Lemon 54, Luke Slater, Luke Greenia. 1 pound contribution comes in from Luke Slater. Thanks, Luke. There's Jason Willis and R. Rodriguez, all saying happy birthday. And David McGurran and Evan Harris, Patrick Holcomb, PC Booster, Mark Baggett, Maralina DG, and Paul Garrett, Tim Teal, L. Perez, Gerald Wallace, Patrick Doyle, Pete Unwin, Steve Ducam, Wayne Pierce, Peter Nelson, Robert McCord Magumi, Richie Girl 12, Joe Flores, WC2F Ham Radio, Jose Gonzalez, Nicholas Barlow. Chevy just contributed $2 and says happy birthday. Peter Meyer, John Williams, Danny 56, Robin Woods, A1 Computers in Idaho, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, Mr. Relaxing with you, Positive Gene. Luke says be sure to check your PayPal. It's not much, but happy birthday. That's Luke Greeny, very generous. Thank you, Luke. I'll check it here in a minute. Robert Cross says happy birthday. Philip Mr. Shane McAlbala, Tommy John and Mark Gaines, Tony Cheek, Spats 90. Thank you guys for the happy birthdays. Alfonso Bajarano, Thomas Mac T, Kevin Fink Biner, Tim Francis, Bobby Anislov, Wayne D, I'm sorry, I lost my spot. The chat was moving pretty quick here. I got to tell you, when I'm watching a live YouTube video, I think it's a real shame when the people doing the videos don't give shouts out to the people that are participating in their live chat, because it's something you can't do on television. Television's a one-way communication. And I know that when a content creator that I'm watching shouts out my name, I get little warm fuzzies inside. I would assume most of you do that. So I want to shout out everybody today saying happy birthday, and I just want to thank all of you. It is 54 years I've been on this planet, and I was pretty sure I wasn't going to live this long. So, and growing up without friends, and keep this as a lesson for anybody younger, perhaps in a difficult time, that be patient and work towards your goals. Don't let anybody get in your way. And, look, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not Jeff Bezos, but I'm very, very happy with the path I've carved out for myself. And I can tell you that starting out with computers in the 1980s, the early 1980s, it wasn't something that was admired. People really didn't understand what the appeal was, and I can tell you that I knew in my gut that computers were the future. I knew how the computer made me feel. I knew how challenging and rewarding it was to use it without all the judgment involved in, people. And then, I couldn't tell you why it was going to be popular. I couldn't tell you when computers were going to be popular. I couldn't have foreseen the internet, but I just knew that this was going to get big. If it hadn't, I would probably be an auto mechanic, or who knows, maybe even playing an instrument in a band, trying to make a living doing that. Anything but working for the man. I had enough of that, and I had to figure out another way to get through life. And then I couldn't have predicted the whole YouTube thing. When I did YouTube, again, a lot of people didn't get it, didn't understand it. Some people were opposed to giving away your education, your experience, because if that's what you do for a living and you're telling people how to do it, then you're going to put yourself out of business. But I knew with YouTube being worldwide, and very few percentage-wise of viewers are going to be located in my general repair area vicinity, that it likely wasn't going to make much of a difference in losing work. And in fact, had the opposite effect, where people started contacting me and asking me if I would build a computer for them, which I never started the YouTube channel for that. I wanted people to build it for themselves, to be empowered. But if people wanted me to build it, I'd build it, and then it gave my business quite a boost, which I wasn't prepared for, and it got super busy. And then I was balancing essentially 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, and I still balance 2 right now. And yeah, it's pretty amazing how things have worked out. I've been very, very lucky, and I'm happy that you're all here, and I'm happy that this has grown the way that it has, and we have such an amazing community here, friendly and supportive people of all genders, ages, races, religions. We all have we're very like-minded people in how we have a similar value system and similar interest, and to bring us together like this in this unique way that hasn't been afforded to people that came before us and generations before us is a pretty magical thing. And so I appreciate you. And we got some more happy birthdays coming in. Let me give a shout out here to ones I've missed. I don't know where I left off. Robert Cross, Shane McCabella, Philip Musto, Tommy John, Mark Gaines, Tony Cheek, Sports 90, Alfonso Bajarano, Thomas MacT, Kevin Fink Biner, Tim Francis, Bobby Atanzov, Wayne D. Oh, when the chat jumps around like this, I have to keep going back and finding my spot. Okay, I just had shouted out Wayne D, so there he is. Okay. There's Ernie Brown and Philip Jones, all saying happy birthday. Thanks, guys. Flex Chew, Kevin Smith, Jim Smith, Bello Samuel, Simon Aspden. Colin Hunt contributes 10 pounds. Hey, Colin, thank you for that. Brute Force and Misosad Ono says happy birthday. Weddell. BH Ringer and Viper. Jamie McGregor contributes 2 pounds. Thank you, Jamie. And all my friends in Scotland. Craig Allen and Jason Willis all saying happy birthday. And Paul Garrett. Martin Wolferts. William Dawson. Parker Morse. Tim Too Much. Javier De La Torre, John Babcock, Chick-fil-A, Robert Jakowski, Anime Star, Alan Lindos, Nicholas Guerrero, Gil Garcia, Chris Mole with a 10-pound contribution. Thank you, Chris. Also says happy birthday, and thank you to all my viewers in the UK and Britain. Sean McCleary, Aware One. Alan Lindas contributes $7.77. He says, another hot day in paradise. Gotta love it. Oh, it's only going to get hotter. They're talking about chances of monsoon storms. I'm like, please bring it on. I don't know what I'm going to do when it gets another 10 degrees hotter. I'm already suffering. My tolerance for this heat is just waning. I'll figure out a way through it. Bladder Jockey says happy birthday, and Jason H. Fun with Benny contributes $1.99 and says happy birthday. Thank you. John G. Trevor Dune or Dunn. Joshua Goonan. Michael Edel. Natalie Kelly. Thomas MacT just became a member for 2 months. Right on. Thank you for joining our tech club. Irving Turkers. Thank you so much, Irving, for the happy birthday. Jeremy Perry and David Herzog. Carlos Hernandez and Paul Kitching. Linda Hudson saying happy birthday. Apparently she has a son my age. Carlos Hernandez, Neo Master, Jared Moyers, Jared Moyers and Jerry Sellers, Stefan Nilsson, Miles Mattock. All saying happy birthday. Thank you so much. Dragon Time Lord 13 says happy birthday, and Jack Connors. Well, again, thank you so much. And I said I'd check my email, right? Let's see. Everybody that's sending thank you messages to me in Facebook, I always respond to everybody, with at least a simple thank you, an acknowledgement. It's very nice of people to send me those friendly messages. And yeah, $20 comes in from Luke Greenia out there in Vermont saying happy birthday. Right on, Luke. As always, thank you for your continued support. And to all of you, if you're new here, what I do is teach people how to build, repair, and upgrade computers. Share a little bit of the life philosophy that I've learned the hard way growing up on how to make life a little more livable. And then, sometimes, well, all the time, I'm dealing with haters on the internet, and so I'll address that from time to time and let people know with full transparency some of the challenges that you will undertake if you decide you want to be a content creator. And if you want to get bigger and more popular, you need to understand that there are some downsides to that, including the attacks of random strangers who I don't understand why they would instigate something that they voluntarily decided to watch, and they didn't pay anything to watch it. But I do try to give full transparency in what it is to be a computer technician, how it's different than just working on your own computer. And if you want to work on your own computer, that's great. But if you enjoy it and you're thinking of a career change, IT is a hot job market right now. Well, everything is a hot job market right now. I've seen several restaurants close to just carry out only because of staffing problems. So there's never been a better time if you were looking for a job. And if you're looking for a challenging and rewarding job, there's so many vectors in IT, from security to desktop support, database management, server administration, networking. It just goes on and on and on and on. SQL Server, SQL database programming. I couldn't list all the opportunities, but whatever you're drawn to, there's nothing better than doing a job you enjoy. I've done enough working at places like Jack in the Box to learn that that's a great temporary job. And if that doesn't motivate you to do something else, I don't know what will. I had a few things in the mail come in from some viewers, and I want to give them shouts out and say thank you. Ryan in Nevada, Ryan's been sending me stuff for years. This time around, he had an Asus Prime X570P motherboard that was out of warranty for some reason and was going into the junkyard. And so he heard my complaints about the little chipset fan on the X570s and the missing screw that I had on the heatsink, or the plastic cover that goes over I think it went over the fan. Anyway, he took those screws out and took the fan out and sent them to me. So now I have spares, and I have a feeling in the coming months or years ahead, I'm going to be using those. Those fans will all fail, and they are not easy to find. Also in the mail, I received a Noctua NHL9i cooler, and it looks like 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 RAM, and that comes in from Bennett Russell. So to Bennett Russell, thank you. We'll certainly use the RAM. Bennett says, I upgraded my CPU cooler and RAM sticks. I installed it. He says he installed 4 8-gig RGB sticks. The cooler I upgraded from was a Noctua NHL9i to a Noctua NHU22A. And if you want these old parts that I replaced, which is Vengeance DDR4, 2 8-gig sticks at 3200 megahertz, and the Noctua NHL9i, let me know and I'll mail them to you. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And so we did, and here they are, and I'm sure we'll use them in an upcoming project. This was the letter from Ryan Grady out in Nevada. He says, Kerry, saw the fiasco of the faulty Asus chipset fan on that X570 motherboard, so I pulled a working fan and screwed off an Asus Prime X570P motherboard from my graveyard. I figure this won't be the last time this occurs, so I decided to send them over to you. Very thoughtful. Ryan has also had a great idea. He sent me like some of the cheapest CPUs you could buy on the Intel platform of varying socket types. So I could have them for testing, you know, if a customer brings a system in and I'm not sure if they have a bad CPU or there's something wrong with the motherboard, having a $50 CPU laying around that I could slap in there for testing from, you know, socket 1151, 1150, socket, I think even 1200 we've got down there. I think there's even a socket 1700, a low-end Celeron type processor. So those are great to have. I don't need them very often, but I'll tell you what, they sure do make diagnosing super fast. It's easy to, you know, swap the CPU if you've got one. And the older the board is, the harder it is to find a compatible CPU to test it. So it was very thoughtful of Ryan to do that. And if you ever see me pull those old Celerons out for motherboard testing, know that that was all Ryan's idea out there in Nevada. I was over at Studio A the other day and picked up my mail, and I got a card all the way from Scotland from our good friend Peter Laycock. And let me show you the cards. There's actually 2 cards. So let me bring them up to the camera. We can read them together. Here's the first one from Peter Laycock. And then we'll open it. How cool is that? And then within this card was another card. That looks like a good old Abbott and Costello routine right there. And again, this is from Peter. How cool. I mean, that's so thoughtful. And that's old school, right? To go through the trouble of buying a card, signing it with a pen, addressing an envelope, putting a stamp on it that can get it into another country. It's not just a regular stamp. What a thoughtful, wonderful person. And I hope one day I'll make it to Scotland and get to shake this man's hand at the very least. So thank you, Peter Laycock. You know, a lot of the videos that I do would not be possible without the generosity of Peter Laycock. I don't really I can't convey the credit he deserves. And you know, for so many of the video projects, even going all the way back to the original Threadripper build, he helped support that in a major way. So, and Peter's not alone. We've a number of very generous contributors, from Tony Wallow and Jack Wilson. Luke Greeny has contributed consistently, and this stuff really adds up. As there's Frankie McAvoy and Frankie B. Of course, Morty Yoel. Morty just got his laptop back. I mailed that. When did I mail that? Wednesday, and he just got it yesterday. And FedEx shipping prices have gone way up because of fuel cost. So a shipment that I normally pay about $100 for is now costing me about $30 more with a fuel surcharge. And it's not like they're getting it there any faster. If anything, that shipment of the laptop back to Morty, Morty's in Florida, I'm in Phoenix, seemed to take longer, and it cost more. So I don't know what's going on. I partially understand the fuel surcharge, but it seems like that's a disproportionate amount of fuel I'm paying for. However, I mean, it was going over 2,500 miles, so, and they got it there and it works. I also shipped 2 more computers out, so my thanks to Chris Johnson and to, how could I forget the other person's name? That's horrible. I just shipped them both yesterday, got those 2 systems out. One was going to Albuquerque. Something like that would normally cost about $60, and it was like $90. And then the other one, that went to, how could I forget? This is gonna bug me if I don't look it up. Hold on a second, I have the receipt. It's just yesterday. I guess I'm getting old. What can I tell you? Oh, Robert Casto. So thank you to both of these folks for supporting the channel by buying a computer from me, and I gave them a really good deal too. I'm finding that to be much more rewarding emotionally than a lot of the giveaways, because you know, with the giveaways, it just doesn't seem like a lot of people appreciate it. But if I can discount a computer by, if I take an $800 computer, and I mean, if you bought the parts, you'd spend about $800. And if I put it all together, cable management, put the Windows 10 on there or Windows 11, whatever they want, activate it, box it up, ship it out, and then sell it for $500, people seem very appreciative every single time. And it's cheaper than the giveaways. It's still bringing money back into the channel so I can buy more parts. And it's getting the parts I've got out the door, because I still have about 27, 26 more computers to go. Mr. TJP Coins and Steve Hoffman are still waiting on their giveaways. I intend to get to the cable management on those tomorrow. Again, I'm highly motivated to get these machines out of here. So if you're in the United States and you're interested in, like the build that Mitch and I did on Friday, I've got the parts to about 4 more identical systems. And of course, I can change the amount of RAM, the amount of storage, the size of the power supply. I just don't want to sell anything with a graphics card. These all use integrated graphics. Graphics cards are still pretty expensive, and you can always add a graphics card yourself to any of the systems I build. So reach out to me at my email address if you're sincere about wanting a system. Please don't ask me what I have. I don't even know what I have. I'd have to go through everything and itemize it, and it would take too much time. So tell me what you're looking for, tell me what your budget is, and if you're in the United States, see if we can make something happen. Even something older, maybe you just want something as cheap as possible. I've got some stuff that I was considering using as giveaways, and I've kind of reeled back a little bit from that, and due to some of the frustrations involved. So back into the chat room. What am I missing here? Robert Cross says his phone won't let him send a super chat. I don't know what's up with that. ER3888 says happy birthday. Mike Perodin saying happy birthday. Hey, there's Frankie B. Speak of the devil. Jeff Jankowitz says happy birthday. And Danny Borrow says happy level up. Level 54, baby. M. Harris saying happy birthday. And Catherine Anna Hauserman, who's been a staple of our chat room for many years. Catherine's the one that I talk about if you're looking to build your own computer, but you don't want to use the parts I use. You want something different. Catherine will help you to define what parts you should purchase to be within your budget to fulfill what your expectations are. She does it completely for free. A lot of people want to know, how do I reach her? Well, you can reach her in the live chat. She's often here when I'm live, or you can look her up on Facebook and send her a direct message there. Awakened saying happy birthday, thank you. He says, Peter sent a message a few minutes ago. That's from John Williams. I was looking away, apparently. Let's go back. Here we go. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Viper says, the city of Hell, Michigan, is 80 degrees. So if it's 81 plus, then you can say it's hotter than hell where you're living. Yeah, I've been saying that anyway. Gary Tatum saying happy birthday. Thanks, Gary. Born Again says, where do you live? Arizona? Yes, I am residing in Phoenix. Ross Whitehead saying happy birthday, and I want to say thank you to Ross Whitehead. Ross has also been a frequent and generous contributor, and I appreciate that very, very much. Jason Wheeler and Paul Garrett joining in there, and Joe Reichard. There's Rick Lakes, a good friend of the channel, and Tristan G, Grodetsky MCO, the Lucas team. Happy birthday, Uncle Kerry. Always watch your videos whenever I can. Right on. There's Peter Laycock. He contributes 50 pounds. He says, good evening, Kerry, and everyone in the chat. All the best from Bonnie, Scotland, where the temperature in Edinburgh is 71 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 18 degrees Celsius. Happy birthday, Kerry. Did you get the birthday cards? Yes, Peter. I was just showing them to the audience before you popped in. Thank you so much. It was so kind of you to do that. And it's not often I get packages coming from overseas. So that in itself is a novelty. Paul Garrett says, have you been super busy? I have missed you. Yeah, Paul, there's been so much going on. I will be getting back to making more videos. I've had some items to deal with regarding, well, there was a huge landscaping job here that took several days, and I can't broadcast where all the power tools are going off, so I was kind of down for those days. I've got some medical stuff that's requiring some attention, which, you know, hopefully is all nothing, but we'll find out after they do what they need to do to look into it. And then had to play a little musical chairs with the cars, and I finally I think I got all that dealt with. I got the Mustang sold to AutoNation and just took a loss on it. But minivan's on its way out. Subaru Mike is selling that for me. So I'm only going to have the one car, which will hopefully save me some money, and it'll be sort of the one car to rule them all. It'll be good for road trips, good for errand running, and good for picking up and dropping off computers. I was using separate cars. I would use that minivan when I had to haul around a computer because they didn't fit well in the Mustang, if at all. And then I would use the Mustang as sort of the, if I had a business meeting, I don't want to show up in that ugly old minivan. It's embarrassing. Or if I just wanted to go out for the weekend car. But I think that this Lexus NX300 is a good all-rounder. My most important priority in car ownership is that it's reliable. Because I'm so busy, anytime I have to take a car to the dealer for repairs, or wherever I have to take it for repairs, I can't do that and do work at the same time. And since I need the car partially for the work I do, I can't do the work without the car. So it creates a little, well, it becomes very costly for me is what it does, and I'm usually not in a good mood about it. So I'm hoping, I've never owned a Lexus or a Toyota before, and I'm hoping it lives up to their reputation of being reliable. Planet Cryos just became a member for 2 months. Right on. Well, thanks, Planet Cryos. We're happy to see that you're a member of our tech club. And I will be doing some members-only videos. I felt pretty guilty about people signing up for that and then making less content. That's not the way it's supposed to work. But as they say, life happens while you're making plans. But rest assured, it's coming. I definitely want to do something special for my members continually. So thank you for supporting the channel in that way. Kenton wants to know where the computer case cake is. Hey, I think I've seen enough computer cases. How about a cake of literally anything but that? Reg Cooper says happy birthday, as well as Danny Coolman. And Planet Cryos just contributed $5. He says, just more love. Right on, I appreciate that, as always. Dave Smith, Planet Cryos, by the way, very supportive and contributes a lot to the channel, and both in his participation and his contributions, financial or otherwise. Martin Wolferts with a $5.67 contribution said, here is a birthday gallon of regular free. Yeah, well, I just need about 16 more of those. No, thank you, though. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Planet Cryos. And to Dave Smith, shouting out a happy birthday. Jan Gunner saying happy birthday. Mike Visions, watching us from England, contributes 10 pounds and says, have a good one, Kerry. I already am. Thank you. With all of you here, it's special. And Rick Jump, Mark McCrae, The Greek, Chris Johnson, Leslie Cavins, Jackie Jetson, thank you all for the happy birthdays. Newcomer 8771, Paul Cleaver, Siegfried Samano, Elhaj Tepej, I know I'm butchering your name every time I say it. I have no idea how you pronounce that, but I'm sure it's not the way I'm doing it. It's a thought that counts. I tried. Daniel Schroeder saying happy birthday. And of course, Chevy. Again, thank you to M. Harris and Dr. Bill and Yashvir Madhu, Orlando B., Darren Gilholm, Peter Matros, Michael Fisher, Donnie Holtgrave Jr., Yashiv says, Kerry, it's also my birthday today. Hope you're having a great day. Well, that's awesome. You must be an awesome person if you share the same birthday as me, because that's how that works, right? Nobody else can be born on this day. It's just mine. All right, we'll share it. I can share it. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Vital Visions. $36 bounce. Edgar says, if I knew you were selling the Mustang, I would have bought it. Which one, the old one or the new one? Because I got rid of them both. The old one was very difficult to get rid of. We tried selling it private party and nobody had enough cash, apparently. I think the minivan's going to go quickly, though, because it's cheap. Samuel Ramos contributes $20. He says, happy birthday, Kerry. I haven't been here in a while. I miss you guys. Yeah, we've missed you too, Samuel. It's good to see you again. Jamie Rico says, happy birthday, and more time. says happy birthday. Thank you, Mortant. Hale is saying happy birthday. Chevy contributes $5 and says happy birthday. Thanks again. Kelly Stewart, there's a name I should mention more often. Kelly's fantastic. He has been so supportive and he's been contributing, again, not just financially, but just, you know, not only in the chat, but even private messages. He and I talk a bit at Facebook, and super guy. And when I'm naming people, I don't know why certain people don't come immediately to mind, but Kelly Stewart should. I have to train my brain. If that happens, if you find yourself not getting a shout out, sometimes you got to remind me because, well, I couldn't even remember the name of the person I shipped a computer to yesterday. That was just yesterday. I'm not saying it's a good excuse, but it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe I got to start writing down a list. But thank you, Kelly, for all your friendship and your support. Hector Avilas contributes $9.99. Right on. Thank you, Hector. Ben Laird says, hi, all from Scotland. Did I miss anybody? Yates Networks wants to know, how is business? Is it good and steady or has it slowed some? I know it's been real slow here. I've been reaching out to a couple new people. On top of everything else going on, business did pick up. And I'm not trying to get any new business. That's what if I'm going to do this move to Michigan, I don't want to pick up anything new. I just want to maintain what I have. And a lot of maintaining what I have is just that. It's maintenance. It's not emergency support calls. However, of one of the companies I still maintain, they're still in the process of renovating a building, which they've been doing now for 3 or 4 years, and they're moving employees around to different places as parts of the building are ready to be moved into. And then they just hired somebody, which I didn't know was coming. And then whenever they hire somebody, they usually end up putting them where some other employee sits, and they want the other employee to sit somewhere else. And then each employee needs access to certain printers. And rather than moving the computers, we just move the employees. And then we set the computers up for whatever printers they need to print to, or label makers, give them server access, or revoke it as need be. And that doesn't happen very often, but when it rains, it pours. And thankfully for that kind of work, I can do it all remotely, and I usually do it working with one of the employees that I don't work with each employee individually. There's usually one employee that's like a liaison. And I've worked with her for over a decade and a half. She's wonderful to work with. And she understands some of the frustration. And some customers, you know, they have unrealistic expectations. They think you should just stop what you're doing and fix their problem immediately. But she understands when, like, they've got a printer and it's really difficult to set up. And then once I figured it out, I tell myself I should write down what I had to do while it's fresh on my mind and save it, just Notepad or Word, on my little folder on the server. But they change printers a lot, and they don't really have much in the needs of support requirements. So I'm like, it's probably going to be a long time before I have to do that again. And of course, it's been probably a year since I had to set up that damn printer, and I couldn't remember how I did it. And it was really baffling, and one of them was super easy. And when I figured it out, then I remembered how I figured it out from before and was going to write it down, and that I should write it down this time. And then I said, they probably won't even have that printer much longer. But what ends up happening is Windows 10 finds the printer automatically. You don't have to do anything. It just adds the printer, but it doesn't work. And I'm sitting there trying to, I'm looking in the printer preferences and properties and trying different paper trays, and it's not working. And then finally removed the printer, and then went to add a printer. That printer pops up, it sees it on a network. I click it to add it. It loads the driver, and then it works. It's still the same driver being, well, let me rephrase. You would think it would be the same driver that was happening automatically when it adds that printer, but it isn't, and I don't know why. But it's a super easy fix, right? Just remove the printer and add it. Because I never added it. In other words, it was a new build. Perhaps they had it sitting for a while. They got a new employee starting. They want it set up to print. I log into it remotely and see the printer's already there. So I'm like, oh, well, there's less work I have to do. Let's just send a print job, a test page, and I ask the person I work with over there over the phone. I go, did it print? She says, no, it didn't print. Or it'll say wrong paper size or something. Like it's communicating, but it's not communicating correctly. And so I try some things and try some things and try some things. And then finally I remove the printer. Since I'm not the one who added it, I search for new printers. It pops up automatically. I click on it. Windows installs the driver. It just works. And I'm like, okay, I should write this down. And I haven't. They also don't have two printers that are the same. They have about 12 completely different printers. Some of them are scanners, some of them are copy machines. I think they have 2 or 3 big copy machines. And the copy machines are given a static IP address, which I can never remember. So if I can't find the printer automatically, I can add it manually by pointing it to the IP address. But to do that, I've got to log in to another computer that already has that printer, go to the printer properties, look at the IP address, and I can add it. And then one of them they use as a fax machine to send and receive faxes through the computer, and that requires software. And I did put the software on the server. I always keep a folder called carry on the server, and within that are any drivers we might need for future installs, any tools or utilities I might use. Speaking of which, somebody messaged me the other day, and I often get the question of what tools and utilities, software, do I recommend? And generally speaking, I don't recommend any. And you have to understand that a lot of these tools might be good and recommended in one version and then terrible on another version. Also, I think people are looking for like a get out of jail free card. Like, I don't think they're really thinking through what they're asking. If there was any software you could run to fix your computer, why would there need to be any technicians? So I think the best software, the best tool you can use is your brain. That's always getting updated. It's always, well, I was going to say it's always current, but I mean it's always in the now. And you use that to diagnose and repair the computer. You shouldn't need any utility to fix a computer, maybe an antivirus. And then it's like, well, what's a good antivirus? Whatever you decide you like, you know. They're all flawed in some way, of varying price ranges, of varying system resource consumption, and of varying effectiveness. None of them are perfect. I don't think any of them are absolutely terrible, at least on the big names. I have my own personal preferences, and I think sometimes people are curious what my personal preferences are, but I've made that very clear. I use a paid version of Malwarebytes and the free Windows Defender for all my clients, and I've been doing that for several years now. I couldn't tell you the last virus I had to remove. It's been years. But that's a combination also of the employees not clicking on random links or opening unfamiliar attachments. So, you know, making sure the employees are making good decisions behind the keyboard, along with having that antivirus and malware, anti-malware, to catch them if they slip up, hopefully. But there's no 100% guarantee that the antivirus or anti-malware is going to detect the threat, especially if, like, the threat was written 10 minutes before you got it. The antivirus or anti-malware companies may not have known of its existence yet. Although a lot of these security programs are now looking at behavior rather than identifying with what we call fingerprints, digital fingerprints. But again, not a 100% guarantee. So I hope you don't put too much I hope you don't become too reliant on or dependent on utility software. Much of the utility software that was useful back in the day, Microsoft has come out with their own version of it, like storage settings to clean up the temp files. And having that run every 30 days, I think is a great preventive maintenance procedure. You set it and forget it. You don't have to check on it. Making sure you have current backups is the number one most important thing you can do. And what software you choose, or if you just want to copy your documents folder or whatever to a flash drive, that would be my number one priority as far as any software goes, is to back up your data. Let me go back into the chat and see what I've been missing here. Oh, so many more comments. My goodness, I've missed a lot. Peter Lightcock says, happy birthday. Have a great day at Yashvir Madhu. All the best from Scotland. Oh, I got to scroll way back. I missed a lot. Peter Macho says, happy birthday, or should we say something I can't say because I don't know how to pronounce it? Darren Gilholm saying hello, and Orlando B saying happy birthday. Again, a thank you to Dr. Bill. Mats Olaf Rickardson said, Carrie, you missed me before, but that's okay. Happy birthday, old man. Hey, Mats Olaf, I'm an old man. What do you expect? Thank you. Mats Olaf watches us, is it from Sweden? Jim KJ3N says, I finally caught up on the live stream. Right on. And he says, happy birthday. Thanks, Jim. D Ice saying happy birthday. Captain McLeod wants to know if I'm going to have cake and beer. Sure, why not? John Rogers says, a little late. Hey, everyone, and happy birthday, Carrie. Thank you, John. Michael Dane says, happy birthday, Carrie. Have a great day. As always, thank you, Michael, another wonderful contributor here on the channel, and contributor even with his own, within his own community. He's given out, what, 110 computers to people that needed them. Nicholas Menard said that Lexus NX300 is a beautiful car. Here's to the long and prosperous relationship to the both of you, Carrie. Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, I think I made a good decision on that car. Alhaj Tebej, Carrie, you can say it however you want to say my name, and happy 54th birthday, you legend. Thank you. Sherry McFarland. Sherry's made a number of thumbnails we use in the videos. She says, I love having my birthday in June. The sun is shining most days, the roses bloom, and the days are longer. I'll tell you what I like about it. Because obviously, we all know people that have birthdays near a major holiday like Christmas. And I think, oh man, that would suck, where you sort of go 11 months with nothing, and then boom, there's a holiday present, and there's a birthday present or a birthday attention. And having the major holidays in December and a birthday in June gives me that nice 6-month reason to celebrate, which is really, really nice. So I'm very happy about that as well, being a June baby. Scott Maxfield says, happy birthday, Carrie. Thank you, Scott. M. Harris said, today is my birthday also. He was born June 23rd, 1959. He said, I'm so old, my social security number is 3. And I use a rock for ID. It's pretty good. Happy birthday, M. Harris. Joseph Zins contributes $10. Says, happy birthday, Carrie. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say I appreciate the deal you have with CDK Deals. I got 2 keys and they both worked flawlessly. I never imagined getting such a good deal. Not only is it a good deal, but they're also very helpful if you have any problems. If you buy the Windows or Office keys off places like eBay, a lot of times you might find you did not get what you were expecting, or you may not get anything at all. And eBay is quick to close those accounts down. I don't know why they're not closing them down before the sale, but if you buy a Windows or Office product key off eBay, you will probably get an alert from eBay saying that the seller account has been closed. Then what they're selling is not allowed for sale on eBay. So then what do? So it's great that the folks at VIP CDK Deals are reliable. They've been in business for many years. You don't know with these eBay sellers, you know. And it's great peace of mind. So I'm glad you took advantage of it. Thank you, Joseph, for your contribution as well. Earlier, like I said, Michael Dane contributed $5. He says, happy birthday, Carrie, from the man. That's right, Michael Dane. He's the man. Ian Carr says, happy birthday from a hot Newcastle in England. Cheers, Ian. Carl says, blessings and happy birthday from Bermuda. Right on. I can't imagine I'd have very many viewers in Bermuda. That's awesome. John Rogers says it's pretty bad when you forget what you forgot. Yeah, but how would I know? How would I remember that I forgot? I'm very confused. I might be forgetting a lot that I'm just not aware that I forgot, but I don't know. So, have I forgotten something that I'm not aware I've forgotten? Probably a lot of things. Probably a lot of things. William Rainey contributes $5. He says, happy birthday, Carrie. I wish you the best today and every day. You're a great teacher, and thanks for all you do. Right on, William. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words and the birthday wishes. And David Chandler saying happy birthday, and Randy Reed. Arnold Fossman. David Ice. Q, the Retro Gamer. Hector Avilas. Thank you, Carrie, for helping me out with your information on diagnosis, rundowns, and analysis. Your input helped me a great deal. Many happy birthdays to you. Hey, that's what I'm trying to do. It's nice when it's successful. I'm not always successful, and I wouldn't know unless you tell me, so I appreciate you letting me know, and I'm glad that it was helpful to you. Mark Gaines with a 20-pound contribution says, happy birthday, young man. Ah, yes. I like to hang around older people so I can feel younger. And if I hang around fatter people, I can feel thinner. Thank you, Mark, for your contribution and the birthday wishes. Darren Belmore says happy birthday, and Vern Mahorny and Keith Benjamin, Joe Justice, David at W7535, and Geo Johnson, Keith Benjamin, Garcia Boy 80, sometimes the chat scroll will jump ahead, and then I have to scroll back trying to figure out where the heck I was before it did that to me. So there might be a break where that's what's happening. I can only hold the chat still for a couple of minutes, and then it jumps to the bottom. Geo Johnson said, His daughter's birthday is tomorrow. Well, happy birthday to her. Clunk Alex says, guys, I'm looking for an all-in-one printer that scans and prints legal size paper. Any ideas? I'm not exactly sure, but if any of you in the chat have a suggestion or recommendation for Clunk Alex, feel free. I hope that we all help each other. The legendary Derbino says, I still even have a Thor version 2 case from when you did that video. I bought it. Uh-oh. Bear with me here for a minute. Having a little bit of difficulties. That hasn't happened in a long time. But it wasn't just you. The whole stream stopped going out for some reason. Okay, so hopefully everything's back to the way it was. The Greek says you're going to love your Lexus. I've got a 2018 Lexus LS500 and it's just a smooth ride and a joy to drive. And it's fast as heck. Still trying to find my spot where I was at here. Nolito Angeles says, shout out from Angel City, Pampanga, Philippines, and happy birthday, Carrie. Well, thank you. Mitch Morrison has sent a picture from Singapore. That's where he is right now. And if you're out there watching in Singapore, stop watching and go do something. Mitch looked super happy too. You can see Mitch has posted some pictures on his Facebook page. You can look up Mitch Morrison, or is it Mitchell Morrison? I think it's Mitch Morrison on Facebook. Yates Networks with a $5 contribution says, happy birthday, Carrie. Thank you to Yates Networks. And Aaron Werner. And Colin B873. Thank you for the happy birthdays. Dorado Systems saying happy birthday. He says, Dorado says, today I spoke with Acronis and we'll start a powerful collaboration in Romania. Right on. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity of growth. And where there's opportunity of growth, there's opportunity to make some money. And help people finding affordable, reliable solutions for backing up their important data. So it's just a win-win for everybody. I hope that works out and becomes very successful for you and Acronis and your customers. Colin Longstaff contributes 10 pounds. Thank you, Colin. I'll make sure you're blue in here. Phil Leo says, happy birthday, Carrie. Thank you, Phil. Tim Too Much says his birthday's on the 21st of December. Oh, that sucks. I think that's also the shortest day of the year. Isn't that the winter solstice? Joseph Zinn says his birthday was June 20th, so we're just 3 days apart. Well, in maybe a few years. Brian Woodley says happy birthday from Sadari, Greece. Normally, I guess he's in Gateshead, UK. He says, I know where I prefer. It must be nice to be somewhere else. I'm assuming. And there's Frankie McAvoy saying happy birthday from Frankie in Waterford, Ireland. Have a great time. Isn't that where they make Waterford crystal? Fancy stemware. John Doe 4880 saying happy birthday, as well as Russell Freeman Sr. Thank you, Russell. Geo Johnson contributes $10. He says, here are my dues. I haven't gotten to a live stream for a while. Happy birthday, my friend and mentor. Right on, Geo. Thank you. And there's Peter Leckhawk again, 50 pounds. He says, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carrie. Happy birthday to you. All right, let me hear that with the Scottish accent now. I don't have an accent. You do. John Peck with a 2-pound contribution says, happy 21st birthday, Carrie. Right on. Sure, why not? And Robert Jones, thank you. Bike Man, Ron Barnish, John Rudgis, all saying happy birthday. Geo Johnson said, I'm 75 years old. You should feel really young around me. Not if you don't look 75. Zayn says, a bit late to the party, but happy birthday, Carrie. Nicholas Menard says, is it Nutty's birthday also, Carrie? No, this is my day. I'm not sharing it with Nutty. It's all about me. So what's new? Hey. Phil says, Carrie, you stayed slim post-COVID lockdown. I gained the COVID-20 and my bathtub has stretch marks. Yeah, you know, no good reason for that, by the way. I have a very carb-heavy diet. My preferences for food is, I'm a carbivore, let's just say. So the fact that I have always been relatively thin, people think I'm bigger, fatter than I am because the camera flattens everything out. So quite often when someone meets me for the first time, not that I'm skinny, I'm not. I could easily stand to lose 20 pounds. But apparently the camera makes me look bigger than I truly am in person. You know, they always say the camera adds 20 pounds, so I suppose I'm learning firsthand that that seems to be true. Make sure Phil is a moderator in here as well. Sherry McFarland says, I hope you got nice birthday gifts this year. Me too. Construction says, happy birthday, 40th, Carrie. Yeah, I just turned 40 14 years ago. William Dawson said, your genes play a big part if you're thin without trying. I mean, diet and quantity of food, I think, also play a role. I mean, you can have the best genes with metabolism and still, you know, if you have a, what's the word? An insatiable appetite, it'll take its toll. So thankfully, well, I do have some days where I'm ravenous. Most days I just kind of graze a snack and maybe have one big meal at the end of the day. Sometimes I just snack the whole day. I'm not really hungry for a big meal. And I would think based on that, I would lose weight. But that when I'm grazing, I might actually be eating more than I'm aware that I'm eating. It's just a handful of this and a little handful of that, or maybe I grab a roll, or maybe I grab some cheese and crackers. And I mean just a couple, but throughout the day, I'm sure it all adds up. I haven't actually written down or kept a record of how much I'm eating because I don't want to know. I just go off intuition. You know, if I feel like I'm in the mood for something salty, like a potato chip, I have a couple. It serves that mood. And then lately I've been on a milk kick for some reason. The Coke and the Gatorade aren't really as satisfying, and I've been drawn towards milk. I don't normally drink milk very often, but lately I've been going through it, and I figured, maybe there's something in it my body wants. I don't know. Morty says I missed his chat. Oh no, let me go back, Morty. Chevy contributed $5 and writes the lyrics to American Pie. He says, happy birthday. Thanks, Chevy. There's Morty's contribution of $20. He says, happy birthday, mate, and good day, chat. Right on. Thank you, Morty. 1K Viper says, happy birthday. Kevin wants to know if I'm going out for a meal or anything. I did yesterday. Captain Blinsky says, happy birthday, Carrie. And Robert Simons. And Steve H, watching us from Reno. Here's a friend I've known for 35 years. Ron Hillier says, happy birthday, brother. Right on, Ron. Thank you. Paul1961 saying, happy birthday. Thanks, Paul. And Mackin M and Eddie Milne. Rare Apple 3. Wilkins Rojas. Robert Jones says, Carrie, I'm about 7 years your senior. Yeah, but I'm catching up to you. Romex R says, everybody says happy birthday. Thanks, Romek. Michael Dane says, why do some people get heartburn every time they eat birthday cake? Because they always forget to take off the candles first. Kelly Sturrett says, hello, Carrie. This is on my new phone. This is the first message that I've sent to you. Right on, Kelly. Enjoy your new Samsung phone. I think it'll serve you well. Alhaj Tepej, Carrie, my birthday is also today. Nutty's birthday is on February 29th. I think you're right. I think he has a birthday once every 4 years. Happy birthday to you. Jim S. is correct. This is my 14th anniversary of my 40th birthday. It's all on how you see it. It's not wrong. John Williams says, happy birthday once again, young man. I will be 80. No, he'll be 66 next month. I almost called you 86. Matthew Burden shouting out a happy birthday. Or no, he's saying happy Thursday. There's the happy birthday. Right on, Matthew. Thank you. And as I mentioned, Captain Blinsky contributes $10. He says, happy birthday, my friend. Thank you, Captain Blinsky. Matt Zoloff says, Carrie, I stopped turning 39. So now I'm still 39. And live, of course. So we stopped turning 39, so that means you're going to move on to the next number, or you mean you stopped at 39? Sean's Linux Gaming says, happy birthday, Carrie. Right on. Thank you, Sean. Ron Hillier says, we've known each other for 38 years. Yeah, this math is getting complicated, Ron. The numbers are getting too big. Jim KJ3N says, 61 years of eating pretty much anything has left me with about 45 to 50 pounds I don't need. It's totally worth it, though. Just be healthy. And Chevy just became a member of our channel. Thank you, Chevy. One Cav Viper contributes $20. Thank you so much for that. And Steve H with a $10 contribution says, happy birthday, have a Coke and a smile. Thank you, Steve. Monty Yoel is singing happy birthday and wants to know how old I am. I am 54. Ron Barnish says, I will be 80 on October 17th. Anvid Jose says, happy birthday, Carrie. Hope you're having an awesome day. It's been great so far. What's the stuff on the Lazy Susan? That's what John Doe wants to know. I just referred to this stuff earlier on. You can rewind the video back to the beginning, and you can see we talk about this stuff here. It's stuff that was sent in from viewers like you. Sherry McFarland said, this year I can invert my age numbers, so I am 46. I was thinking of the same thing. Instead of 54, I'd be 45. Not a big break, though. Phil Leo says, add a shot of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon to that Coke for your birthday. Yeah, why would I ruin a perfectly good Coke? Kelly Stewart says, just sent you a message, just wait a bit before checking. All right, Kelly, I will. Jim S. says, it took me over 40 years to get to the weight he's at, and he's not interested in losing it right away. Dr. Bill says, I don't like birthdays. It reminds me I'm getting old. I don't know why in society we sort of feel some sort of negativity towards getting older. Certainly didn't feel that way as kids. Couldn't wait to get old enough to drive, or old enough to vote, or old enough to drink, old enough to move out. So, you know, the growing and the maturity continues. It doesn't stop because, well, now you're old enough to do all these things that you couldn't do when you were younger. There's a real benefit to getting older when it comes to, in many cases, for me, I can only speak for me, when it comes to attitude and expectations, when it comes to deciding what's worth my effort, and choosing my battles a bit more selectively and carefully, and realizing that the energy put forward into something or someone isn't always an investment worth making. And that, I think, makes my life more efficient. I'm able to get more done, and I'm able to be happier. I would say, don't let the way others choose to live their life affect the way you choose to live yours. Those words are very easy to say, but to put that in practice requires awareness and mindfulness and a desire to want to be happier. Whether somebody else likes that or not, once you learn that that's really not part of the equation if you don't want it to be, it ends up being quite effective and successful in my experience. But you just have to keep doing it all the time. Practice, practice, practice. And then hopefully after a while, you just do it automatically without even thinking about it. John Panico says, a big happy birthday to you, Carrie. Thanks, Joe. The Greek contributes $10. He says, put another candle on your birthday cake. Cheers, my friend, truly. Thank you, The Greek, and thanks for supporting the channel. Starshine says, what's going on here then? Really, we're just hanging out and chatting. It's like if you went to a bar with some friends and your friends were already there and you pull up a seat at the table and say, what's going on here? What do you think? We're just hanging out and enjoying each other's company. You're welcome to stay and join us in a conversation or a dialogue that may have absolutely no educational value whatsoever. Just like when you hang out with your friends, that's all I'm trying to replicate here virtually, with friends from all over the world. Sherry McFarland said, it's a birthday party. It's a virtual birthday party with 270 guests. Yeah, sure. Geo Johnson says, like the song, I'm not as good once as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. I'm not familiar with that song, but yeah, attitude is everything, really. It's just attitude. Phil Leo says, too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. Well, that's true, but if the person you're doing that to has a bad attitude, you can't help to turn somebody around who doesn't want to be turned around. That's just going to frustrate both of you. But yes, simply making eye contact with a stranger for a moment and smiling and maybe giving a head nod usually results in a very positive return, right? Even if it's just another head nod back, or maybe they say hello. And it doesn't have to go any further than that, just crossing paths. And, for as much as people get upset for behaviors of others around them, we can, with intent, counter that by just a friendly acknowledgement of each other's existence when we cross paths. Just that little tiny thing absolutely has the potential to be a pretty big deal to the other person. Might be having a bad day, and maybe that's something that distracted them momentarily from their own mindset. Geo Johnson said those song lyrics were by Toby Keith. Oh, I don't listen to country, so that explains that. Eric P. saying happy birthday. Thanks, Eric. John Rogers says, are you going to Michigan this year? I go to Michigan every year. Yes. Thomas Mac T says, at least you don't have to clean up after we leave. That's true. I don't mind cleaning up. The bigger the mess, the better the time was. Brian Henry says happy birthday, and Michael Manzini says happy birthday, as does Ben Fitzpatrick. Thanks, guys. This is getting warm in my hands. Let me grab a cold one. So what's on your mind? What's happening? Talk to me. Xrod666 contributes $20, says, happy birthday, Carrie. Hope it's a good one. Thank you, Xrod. Another contribution comes in from Planet Cryos, this time for $12. He says, I got to go, but here's my early leaving penalty, I hope. He says, happy birthday again, and best wishes. Well, again, thank you so much for your friendship and your support. I really appreciate it. Both Planet Cryos, Xrod 666, all of you. What did I get for my birthday? Well, last year I ordered this. You know, we had Warren Davis on the show, along with Todd Tuckey from TNT Amusements, and a gentleman named, how am I forgetting? Wow, this is not good. It'll come to me. But Warren Davis is the creator of the video game Q*bert, which was pretty popular. I think it was the 13th most popular video game in history, arcade game, I should say. And this is at a time where a lot of leading arcade games were coming from Asia. So we didn't have too many, we had a few American successes in the arcades. With things like Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, you know, I think it's pretty clear those are Asian, in this case, Japanese creations. And so, while I wasn't a big Q*bert aficionado, it is a hard game to play. I mean, I don't think I could get to level 3. So I didn't pump a lot of quarters into it because it would go too quickly. I wanted to get my quarters worth out of other games. But it had this really cool feature in the arcade game where they have what's called a pinball knocker. And what it does is it slaps a pinball against the side of the machine whenever the character falls off the screen, and it's down by your shin or your knee when you're standing in an upright arcade cabinet. And it sounds like he's hitting the bottom of the arcade cabinet, Q*bert, when he falls off the side. And some of the machines, they disabled that. But it was pretty interesting because I never seen a video game that had anything like that before or since, where you could feel it. You know, you feel the whole cabinet vibrate. I mean, that thing hit the arcade game wall, hit it pretty hard, and it was like, whoa! I mean, you could tell something fell. It's pretty cool, and they've replicated that in every way on this smaller edition of Q*bert. And right now, I think they have about 200 of these left, and when they're gone, they're gone. And this is made by a company called New Wave Games. And they get all the proper licensing and everything. And when they do a arcade miniature, they do it to every detail to that scale. It's incredible just how much detail these games have. And because of the pandemic and things like that, all the production got pushed back. So I pre-ordered this like almost nearly a year ago. And it only just arrived this last week. Let me show it to you. And of course, it was an honor and a pleasure to be able to interview Warren Davis, the creator of Q*bert. Although Warren will be quick to tell you, there was a team of individuals working on the game together, and it wasn't all him, and he's not comfortable accepting all the credit. He's a very modest and down-to-earth guy. And he was signing some of these randomly for people, these arcade cabinets. He went over to New Wave Games offices and just took a silver Sharpie and would sign them. And I was hoping I was going to get a signed one, but I didn't. That's okay. So let's do the peel here, and I will show you what this looks like. And it seems like the folks over there at New Wave Games, Shiloh, that's his name, they get the detail, they get more and more detail with each generation of new game they're coming out with. Let me bring this up here and I'll show you. And then I'll take you to their website at newwavegames.com. But we've got some of that protective plastic there. One of the things that frustrates me whenever companies come out with the at-home versions of arcade games is their emulators, their sound isn't right, or the game's just not the same, and I don't want to play it if it's not the same. You know, call it something else. In this case, every detail, the marquee, even the lettering and everything on the control board, the coin door, and on the back there's even like a little lock. Isn't that clever? like the arcade actually had that. Up on the top, you've got a volume control and a power button. If we push the power button, this, by the way, is rechargeable. So you plug it into USB to charge it up. You've got an HDMI out if you want to hook it up to a television set. And then you can plug in USB controllers. So you don't even have to play on the smaller screen with the small controller. But if you're, want to take it with you somewhere, it's easy to pack it along with you. There's no moving parts, so it's not like you're going to break it. Maybe you might scratch it up, but if we...
Hello, I'm Brenda.
So that's exactly what Qbert does when you turn it on, the real arcade game, by the way. Many people wouldn't know that because they don't see them get turned on. Usually when you walk in the arcade, they're already on. We'll go ahead and stick a quarter in by just pushing the button. Oh, that's a menu. Sorry, I think I gotta hit the other one. I think it's this side. Okay, so that's the sound of a token. I'll hit player 1. Everything is 100% the actual arcade game. If I go off the side, see if I can make Qbert fall off the side. They've got something inside the cabinet that knocks. I want you to hear it. Well, see, that didn't take long, but I got to get Qbert to fall off the side, and then you can hear it. And if you were holding it, you'd also feel it a little bit.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard it. I'm going to hold it close to the microphone.
Oh.
Hear that? And you can feel it. It seems like it's hitting somewhere right around here. It's nothing compared to the actual arcade game. The arcade game was like very loud. But the fact that they did it at all is impressive. All right, one more time. I'll just show you the gameplay on it. Yeah, anyway, New Wave Toys never fails to impress. Let me show you their website, because these, like every other little machine replica that they make, they sell out, and then that's that. They generally don't ever make them again. I'm hoping they will for people like myself who learned about them after 5 or 6 games had already been released and sold out, and then I had to go and overpay on eBay to get them. So let me pull up their website and I'll share it with you here. It's newwavegames.com. New Wave Toys. newwavetoys.com. My apologies. And let me share the screen with you so you can see it. Now, they're not paying to sponsor this or anything. This is just genuinely my own interest. But here they've got the Qberts in stock. They're $159.99. There's 2 versions of Qbert loaded on. There's the regular arcade Qbert we're all familiar with, and then Warren Davis came out with a harder, faster Qbert that was more challenging, even though this is pretty challenging to me. But you can load either one. That's what the other button does. It brings up that menu. Also, they have 1942. That was a fun game. And I think that one comes with a little controller. So, like I said, you can hold the controller, run an HDMI to the television. They also came out with replicas of the little M90 boom boxes. And they have a miniature. Let me rephrase. They have a mini, and then they have a micro, and even a little carrying case. They even had a little tiny replica cassette tape you could put in, and even the cassette door opened really slow. It looks like the real thing. And then tuner knobs they sell as an add-on. And that's what your controller, there's a Street Fighter 2. That's the 1943 mini arcade stick. They have this little UV base pad you can put the arcade cabinet on, which mimics what some of the carpeting looked like in some of the arcades back in the 80s. They also have these, what are essentially battery packs. They look like change makers where you put $1 or whatever in and you get your tokens. Only these are used to, you charge them up, and then this way if your game's getting low on power, let's say you're sitting in the back seat of a car or something, then you can just plug it in, or you can plug your cell phone in and charge it. It's just, all it is an external battery. And this is also an external battery designed to look to a portable music player similar to a Walkman. I've shown you this book. This is a book of marquees, which were pretty unique artwork back in the day, and that's why the book has that long rectangular shape. Each page is a replica, a detailed replica printed on really nice paper to emphasize the artwork of the arcade games. And they obviously don't have all arcade game marquees, but there's a large, I think there's 180 of them, a large variety of them. And these are some of the games they've made in the past that are now sold out, such as Dragon's Lair, Street Fighter 2. I think they're coming out with another Dragon's Lair, which is the first time they've ever done that, and I think you can get in on a pre-order, sign up for their mailing list. Tempest and Centipede, I had to buy those off eBay because by the time I learned these existed, they were already sold out. They have a little enamel pin. And then these are two mystery cabinets that are coming out, and I believe these are both Space Ace, which was the follow-up to Dragon's Lair. But you will have to be patient if you pre-order this stuff because the pandemic is still ongoing, manufacturing is still slow, distribution is still slow, although I don't think you'll have to wait a year like I did with this Q*bert. Do settle, be prepared to settle in for the wait. And then once they're sold out, they're pretty much gone. A lot of people are buying them and selling them on eBay. The ones I ordered on eBay were still sealed in the box. So clearly somebody bought them to sell them knowing that they were going to sell out. And personally, I'm glad they did, or I wouldn't have the Centipede or Tempest or Galaxian. I still don't have the Street Fighter 2. They want way too much money for that. These are generally always around $150 each. And they're wanting over $400 or $500 for Street Fighter 2 on eBay. So, well, I want one, I don't want one that bad. And I was never into the fighting games anyway. It's just about having the collection. That's the OCD part. Once I started it, now I gotta have every one of them. So that's newwavetoys.com. Again, no sponsorship there. I'm just a fan. And this Q*bert will go along nicely with my other miniature arcade games. There is supposed to be a Space Invaders coming out from another company that does these miniatures. Their miniatures are quarter size. It's a clever play on words because they took quarters, right? But they make Galaga, and they make, I'm thinking of if you look at Numbskull, is it Numbskull Games? They have a Space Invaders. And again, they replicate the box exactly, just like New Wave Toys does, but their scale is larger. And the Space Invaders cabinet's pretty unusual because it's wider than most cabinets. And the artwork on the side, again, these two companies, New Wave Toys and Numbskull, is it Numbskull Games? I gotta look it up. Yeah, Numbskull Games, and then let me share the screen with you and I'll show you that one. And again, no sponsorship here, just genuinely, I'm interested in this stuff. And I have to select a different screen, which I thought I did. What did I do? Hold on a second, guys. Here it is. All right, now I should be able to share that. Does that work? Yeah, it works. So with Numbskull Games, you go to merch. Is it under merch? And they sell a lot of stuff. But what I'm looking for are the quarter arcades. Here, quarter arcades. So you can see they've got Galaxian, Ms. Pac-Man, Bubble Bobble, Galaga, regular Pac-Man, Pac-Man 40th anniversary, Polybius, which was never really a game. It was sort of a, if you've never heard of it, it was, I had never heard of it until they came out with this, but this is nothing more than a cabinet charger. It's just a portable battery. Polybius was an urban myth, which I think started out of Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. But there's the Galaga machine, and these are a bit bigger, so they're a little easier to play. They've got the Space Invaders, which again, I've ordered. I don't know how long that's going to take. Dig Dug, Galaxian, Ms. Pac-Man, Pac-Man I already mentioned. And I think most of them are not available. What are they saying about the Space Invaders? I haven't gotten an update on it. Estimated arrival 2022. All right, well, I suppose it's not late. Select a retailer. I guess we got to go to the UK on this one. They do have a Numbskull website for the US and one for the UK. And here you see it's £199 and 99 pence. They're not expecting it till October 31st. Okay. Well, now I know. See, all I had to do was look. As for the other games, I don't know that they have any other games in stock. Let's close that and let's go back to Quarter Arcades. What if I wanted to buy Galaga? Could I get it still? Yeah, it says order now. Here we go. Just Geek is the US arm of Numbskull Games, and there is a Just Geek site for the UK as well. What? Quarter Arcades. Here we go. We'll see which ones they have for sale. Official Dig Dug, official Bubble Bobble. I never played Bubble Bobble, so that one I don't care about. Looks like they only have Dig Dug and Pac-Man right now. That's a decent price, honestly. I think it's worth it. Anyway, that's my birthday present to myself this year. Only in the fact that it arrived so close to my birthday. Luis Gutierrez says Amazon has a next day delivery on Numbskull game. Oh, yeah, I've never thought about that. Probably a third-party seller, I would imagine. All right, let's see if I can close these tabs out. Richard QZD says happy birthday, as does Jason Urbank and Patrick Rousseau. Phil Leo says, I remember Qbert, I almost got divorced playing so much Microprose Apache gunship on my Commodore 64. Yeah, I was dating a girl that I was playing like King's Quest 3 or something, and it pretty much caused irreparable harm to the relationship. the decisions one makes in their priorities when one is younger do often really feel silly as you get older and realize what a moron you were. I think that's a common feeling that many of us get as we age and think back at some of the things that we were valuing and how our values have changed as we get older. I think that's pretty common for a lot of us, huh? Anyway, that'll go with the rest of them. Eventually, I'll have my own little tiny arcade. Ron Sprague says happy birthday, and Alistair Crawley says happy birthday. Thanks, guys. What's that book Alistair Crawley wrote? Famous book. It was about they say he was an occultist, but that depends on who you ask. But he wrote a book. Well, he wrote several, I think. But he I'm looking it up. I'm trying to find the book. To a belief system that challenged typical religious beliefs that resulted in them retaliating, saying it was like devil worship or something. But of course, I'm a big fan of decide for yourself. It's always interesting to hear different ideals and philosophies and to be open-minded enough not to let somebody else make those decisions for me, but that's me. I can't think of the name of the one book that was, like I said, there's a number of writings he's done. I only really learned about him recently. So I finally figured out that person's name in the chat. They spell it wrong, but that's okay. I think that's what they were going for. Oh, Marvin's taken off. All right, Marvin. Well, it was good hanging out. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Wayne Muir saying happy birthday, as does Niall Daly. And I think I have some mail arriving. Excuse me for a minute. Yep, Amazon just dropped off a couple things I needed. Some parts for an upcoming build. I know, what a shock. And what I think this box is another little birthday present to myself here. Let's see, let me get it open. All right, let's see, here is, I got the wrong video. When I'm looking at the chat room, I've got to pull up the video on YouTube, which is delayed, which drives me crazy when I'm trying to see if I'm in focus or what I'm trying to show you is in frame of the camera. So that happens to me a lot, and I'll solve that by getting two monitors, but it's a little present to myself. I've been jonesing for some Rick and Morty. I don't know when the next season's going to start. So this is a bunch of comic books of Rick and Morty that are compiled into this book. And when you open the book, let's see, we got a little cover here. I don't think that's working right. It's got a little speaker, which isn't working apparently. But these look like fun. So a little something for myself. I think they got like 10 volumes. This is volume 1. I think I ordered all of them, and they're slowly arriving. So, yeah. Little reading material, light reading material for me. So I will just set that there. Damian Jess says, happy birthday. Right on, thank you. And Computer Life Support says, blessings on your journey. Happy birthday. Thank you. Pay Sims says, happy birthday, Carrie. All the best to you and your family. Luis Gutierrez says, happy 25th birthday, Carrie. Sure. Thank you, though. And M Wild Fan 1 says, happy birthday. Carrie, does Nutty have his special day coming soon? I don't know. I'm sure he'll tell me. Stan Ristoff saying happy birthday. And John Aloy Sr. says happy birthday from Virginia. Hope you have many more. My Thai PC Build saying happy birthday. Thank you, guys. Bryce Hoskins. Happy birthday, Carrie. It must be the 23rd. Like me. Oh, 23rd birthday. Yeah. That's a really good camera if that's having that effect. Kevin Billerbeck contributes $5. Says, happy birthday, Carrie. Finally got onto a live chat and now a 2-month member. Well, thanks for becoming a member and for supporting the channel and becoming a part of our tech club, Kevin. I will be, as I mentioned, making content specifically for members only, in addition to the regular content that I make. Things have been a little busy the last couple weeks, but I got some things I got to take care of. But it's coming. Josh Kinder, Gaming Computers Channel, says happy birthday, Carrie. Thanks, Josh. And Russell Starr. And Jeremy S. all saying happy birthday. Right on. Thanks, guys. I guess I can clear this out of the way now. I think I waited 11 months for this. From the time I ordered and paid for it 11 months ago. Totally worth it. I was secretly hoping that this was one of the random ones that Warren Davis would sign. But who knows? Maybe I will bump into Warren Davis at a convention or something, and if I know he's there, I'll bring it with me and have him sign it in person. Even better. So, anything on your mind? We will probably wrap this up in about, I don't know, about a half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. How long have we been live? About 10 minutes shy of 2 hours. So, yeah, we'll take it a little longer and And Dondius Butler says, happy birthday. Thank you. More Skittles says, hey, Carrie, I spent $4,000 building an extreme gaming PC, but all the high-end games keep getting lag spikes in which the frame rate will drop from 170 FPS to 90 frames per second for just a second. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. I don't know what to tell you on that. I would say maybe look to forums where people are discussing whatever game it is you're playing that's doing that, and see if there's any tips. I'm sure you're not the only one experiencing it. Make sure you've got the latest chipset drivers installed, whether you're on Intel or AMD. That can make a difference. And of course, if anybody in the chat has some suggestions, please help out More Skittles with your suggestions. Nick Garcia contributes $10 and says, happy birthday, Carrie. Right on, Nick. Thank you for that. Chris Smith shouting out happy birthday. Right on, Chris. Thank you for that. Jim S. says, I've got a free Amazon Prime Twitch subscription just sitting there. I wish Carrie would reconsider streaming on Twitch so we could all drop them on his channel. Drop what on my channel? I'm confused. Pierre Damphouse with a $10 Canadian contribution says, happy birthday, Carrie. Thank you, Pierre. We'll make sure Pierre is blue in here as well. Terry Hughes contributes $5 and says, happy birthday and many, many more. Thank you, Terry. And there's L in the chat room saying happy birthday. Thanks, L. Those of you should remember who L is. Bryce Hoskins says, I'm honored to share your birthday. Mine was yesterday. It's close to being shared, sure. But you know what? As I recall, you're in Australia, right? So today is yesterday. So then it's the same day. I think that works. And Marco Maelstrom says, happy birthday to you. Thanks, Marco. All right, so again, if there's anything on your mind you want to talk about, now's the time. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up a little earlier. Dakota Lee says, I'm late, but happy birthday, my guy. Right on, Dakota. Thank you. Legrinia says, it's time for bed. 1 a.m. for work comes early. Well, you know, those are the kind of hours I liked. I like working nights. But yeah, get some rest. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for your support, your contribution, your friendship. Appreciate you. Zvi Manor says, I just found out from Doug that you have a birthday. So happy birthday, Carrie. Thanks. And I guess thanks to Doug for letting you know. Hey Sim says, from a Portuguese in France, happy birthday, Mr. Carrie Holzman. I wish you the best of everything. Right. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. I don't know thank you in Portuguese. And Danny Hartline saying happy birthday. Thanks, Danny. Darth Raff says, you're my favorite tech guy. Oh, you're going to make me blush. Thank you, though. Greg wants to know when my next vacation is in Michigan. I always go to Michigan in September. So it'll be the same this year. Captain Blinsky says, get yourself a steak and a lobster tail, sir. Yeah, I don't eat seafood unless it's battered and deep fried, but I'm sure that I'll go for dinner one of these nights. But thank you. The Greek says, thanks for sharing your birthday with us. Have a great rest of the day and evening. Thank you, the Greek. Yeah, I just wanted to do something a little different. I was so busy these last couple weeks. You know, if I'm not making videos, I mean, that's a high priority for me. It's not because I don't have anything to make videos about. It's that I don't have the time, or I have exhausted myself with an earlier project and I'm just not in the mood to go live. So that's what's been happening lately. But it's all temporary and things are getting taken care of, including the pool outside, which has turned green. The pool guy has stopped showing up and I don't know why. It's been about 4 weeks since he's been here, and I over-chlorinated the pool, which, by the way, if you over-chlorinate a pool, it turns it green. So in my attempt to fix the green, I created a different shade of green. So now I'm kind of waiting for the heat and the sun to burn that chlorine off and go get the water tested again. The pool's clean as far as, you know, the surface of the pool's clean, and the water is clean. It's just, there's some kind of algae that's growing. And I hate pools. I hate them. They're just soul suckers when it comes to the maintenance, ongoing, never-ending maintenance. And if there's a windy day, it blows a bunch of stuff in the pool. And like I said, landscaper was here. I think a quarter of the yard they put in the pool. So I was out there for hours getting all that stuff out of the pool. That's what caused the whole thing to turn green to begin with. And I've had a struggle getting it back to blue again. But in trying to correct it, I overcorrected. And now I'm just waiting. And it's just one more thing to do. And once I get it nice and blue again, it should self-maintain as long as I weekly put some chlorine in there. Ron Varnish says, I'm having a problem with Yahoo. Will not go to USA language. Did all things that you need to. Every time I turn it on, I have to put in the right URL for English. Clear out your browser cache. That's what I would recommend. Clear out your browser cache and cookies. You will have to re-enter all your logins for passwords for websites that require logins, and then it'll create a new cookie for you from that point forward. But that's probably what you're going to have to do to correct that. Morty says, I got my laptop. It's working good. Thank you very much. Right on, Morty. Thanks for the update. Cody says, happy birthday. Thank you, Cody. And Michael Shaw says, happy birthday. Thank you, Michael. And Sienna Gears. Graham Bell also saying happy birthday. Love all that you do to help us with knowledge. Thanks for making me blue. I find typing difficult. I am in the UK. Well, we're happy to have you. Linda says they're getting thunder and lightning in Casa Grande, Arizona. So he's heading off. Hey, yeah, when you get these big thunderstorms in Arizona, it's good to turn electrical equipment off, let the storm pass. So unless you're on a battery-powered laptop, the power spikes that can occur if there's a close lightning strike or the windstorm knocks down a power pole and it creates a surge, it traditionally causes a lot of damage to electronics. So those of us who've lived in Arizona long enough and have gone through that know when there's a big storm coming, unplug it from the wall. Anything you want to survive. You obviously wouldn't unplug your refrigerator. You can't really unplug the air conditioner. And even though it's a hot, sweltering day, you should not be going into the pool. If lightning hits that pool water, well, I suppose it'll be quick. More Skittles says, I gotta go. All right, well, thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Phil wants to know if I've ever been to Lake Charlevoix in Michigan. No, as I recall, Charlevoix is up north. I think we drive by it when going to Mackinac Island. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Keith says, what do you want for your birthday? I already have it. Sienna Gears says, did a major PC upgrade just the other day. Happy times. Found a dead stick of RAM, though, that prevented my CPU from being recognized. I've talked about that. People have, I'm sure many of you have bad RAM on your computer, but you don't know it because you're not utilizing it yet. So that's why I did the video about MemTest 86, just to go ahead and run it through the cycle of 13 tests. Probably takes about an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on the speed and the amount of memory that your computer is and has. So that gives you peace of mind that hopefully it passes all 13 tests with no errors. But if it does give you errors, there's a good chance one of your RAM modules is bad, and it's just in an upper area of memory that you haven't hit. So I would imagine there's probably at least 10% of you watching right now that have machines with bad memory and you just don't know it yet. Jay Christian saying happy birthday, as does Rick Rubisette. Thanks, guys. Keith Benjamin says, happy birthday, Pops. Pops. Ron Barnish says he wants a 10-pound box of $100 bills. Not sequential. Al Edge says, number one mistake is people forget to disconnect the power port from their cable modems or DSL modems and forget the coax is plugged in. This is very true. Sometimes a power spike happens somewhere else and travels through the coax line, and the only safe way really is to disconnect it. That surge protector you've got it plugged into isn't likely going to save your equipment, not during these big storms. The only safe way is to actually disconnect the cables. Even back in the day when people had telephone modems, I've seen computers get fried through a power spike going through the telephone cable. And of course the customers were confused. They're like, I had the computer unplugged. I go, yeah, but you didn't unplug the phone line. And I can see from the burn marks inside the case that the modem's burned, that the port is burned. So it's clear the source of the power spike was through the phone lines. And if you're on a network and you've got everything turned on and plugged in, and you have a very close lightning strike, it could take everything out. It could take out your switch, router, network cards, even to the point where you have to replace the cabling in the house. Ask me how I know. And if you search for that on Google, you'll hear many stories where that's happened to many others. It wasn't just me, and it still happens. But we're talking about pretty severe thunderstorms, not just a regular, the odds of a regular thunderstorm causing any damage are pretty low. But on a severe thunderstorm, and especially if you're in the heart of it, the trees are bending over sideways and rain is just gushing down on an angle, lightning's flashing above you and thunder is shaking the walls of the house, don't count on that surge protector. The only way you can be absolutely certain is to unplug it. You can go to your smartphone and start using that during a thunderstorm while everything else is unplugged, because your smartphone will be completely wireless and it won't matter what happens with power and such. And that way you can still get your fix with the internet or watching some shows or whatever it is you like to do online, and just deal with your tablet or your smartphone for a little while until the storm passes. That would be the best advice I could give you. Or roll the dice, and deal with something if it happens. Joe Reichard says he needs to get a larger SSD for his laptop. 500 gigs is not really a lot for games or dual booting. Yeah, I agree. Good news is those 2.5-inch drives and NVMe drives, very affordable right now. Prices have really come down a bit, quite a bit, on solid state memory. I don't know why, but it's a good time to buy. Marco says, Carrie, very true. We had a big storm down here in Florida that took our computers out and the monitors for over $2,000 in damage for just one client. Josty One says, happy birthday, young one. I just ordered 2 office keys. Thank you so much. You have a birthday and you give me the gifts. Yeah, well, that feels good. Glad you took advantage of the offer, saved some money. Let me see my phone here real quick, and then I'll say goodbye and see if I missed any messages from folks here. Sarah Sharpling sent an Amazon gift card. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Don Dry also sent an Amazon gift card, as did Kelly Stewart. Kelly sent a $54 Amazon gift card. Times like this, I wish I was 100. And $25 via PayPal from Javier De La Torre. Thank you, Javier. And I think that catches me up. So yeah, just a hangout show today. No vital information, no valuable lessons. Just saying hello. And Andy Kane jumps in right at the end here. Good to see you, Andy. Made it just under the wire. And thank you to everybody for being a part of this amazing community that we've built here. And I'm looking forward to more reviews and builds. I still have a couple more of those budget builds that'll be pretty much identical to what Mitch and I did on Friday. As I mentioned, Mitch is currently in Singapore. In fact, he sent me a picture to share with everybody where he is in front of the Marina Bay Sands, which is a very famous building in Singapore. It's huge, and it has this thing at the very top, which connects the 3 high rises together, and it's a big pool. So let me just bring this up to the camera, and I can share the photo with you. This was just sent, I think this was yesterday. Mitch only just got there, I think Wednesday. So there's Mitch in Singapore with a big smile on his face. You just can't tell. He said he was going to get in that pool up there on the top of those 3 buildings and take a picture from there. So we'll see if he's got the guts to actually do it. But hopefully he's having a good time out there. He'll be there at least 2 months, maybe 3. Maybe not in Singapore, but he'll be in Philippines, I think Vietnam. He's spending a few weeks in each place, I believe. Patrick Rousseau said he just sent a PayPal gift to me. Indeed you did. $25 comes in from Patrick Rousseau. Says happy birthday. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks to everybody who's contributed, not just financially, but also just participating in the chat and, if for lack of a better word, being virtual friends, not only with myself, but with each other. I think it's really cool. Wayne says, will I have a broadcast tomorrow? Yes, Wayne, I will be live tomorrow at 1 o'clock as always. I am trying to be faithful to that one scheduled show a week. I want to expand it to 2 scheduled shows a week, but so far I think I've only missed one Friday out of the last 2 or 3 years I started doing this. So, of course, I didn't want to. But yeah, I will be live tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I think I'll end up doing one of those builds. That's the budget build. And again, if anybody's interested in buying one of those budget builds from me, reach out to my email address, which I can put up here on the screen momentarily. Every time I do that, I've got to I got to figure out how to put a background behind that. I'm sure it'll take me 5 minutes to figure it out. Either I don't have time, or when I do have time, I don't think about it. But that's how you can reach out if you've got a business inquiry, you want to buy a machine, stuff like that. That's how you can reach out. I'm going to take that off the screen. I don't like to leave it up there too long, but you can always hit the space bar to pause the video when it hits that part if you need more time to write that down. It's easy. It's just my name. Just spell it correctly. That's the hardest part. I was trying to figure out how to make this go back to full screen. There it is. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for me for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you'll join me tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific time. That's 4 o'clock Eastern, as I broadcast each and every Friday. Sometimes the repairs, sometimes it's upgrades. Most of the time it's a build. The build isn't going to be anything special. It does start to feel repetitive after a while, but welcome to a career. That's how life is. I really think that these parts are a really good value for the money. They're very reliable. I was very impressed with the Be Quiet fan I used on Friday's build. So much so I ordered 4 more of them. They pair very well with an 11600K, and the hottest it got during Prime 95 was 79 degrees Celsius. And I think, I lost track of time. I forgot to set the timer, but I think I let that run about a half an hour. It was certainly more than 20 minutes. So I'm very impressed that that little cooler was as quiet as it was, as easy to install as it was. It's half the price of the Scythe. And you're not getting any benefit to cool that chip any more than that. No matter how cold you make your chip, it still runs the same speed unless you're overclocking it. But you wouldn't look at good coolers at that level, or for that matter, most people wouldn't look at a chip at that level if you're looking for overclocking. Generally, that involves spending more money. Overclocking and budget don't really go together. So in the meantime, thanks for all the support, contributions. Thank you for all those happy birthday wishes there. Thank you so much. And I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm not running any intros or outros today, so I will just end this video by saying thanks for watching and bye for now.